like him to scoot down a little bit, guys?
Yeah.
So scoot down just a few feet that way, the other way.
Oh, this way.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Sorry.
Maybe just thank you for joining us. We have Coach Bakich. He'll make an opening statement and take questions. Fire away.
Yeah, I mean, hey, January 27th, and we got blue skies and sunshine and the start of official team training. So another day to get better, another day to improve. Opening day, obviously 3 weeks from today, and you know, we're not necessarily counting down the days, more making the days count. And when we have days like today that are beautiful, it's a huge opportunity for us to get out here and train and get better and improve. We're going to finish today's training session with a 4-inning game, and so it's just been a lot of progression, a lot of growth, a lot of improvement. We set a goal to try to build as strong of a foundation as we could in the fall. Felt like we did that very well, made a lot of strides in improvement from the neck up, getting these guys engaged in some community service activity off the field, just really putting a target on developing them as people, as teammates, as well as ball players, and the stuff that we did in the classroom, off the field, in the community, I feel like has really translated into making the best team that we can possibly have on the field. And we've had a great accolade in setting the all-time GPA record for the Clemson Baseball program this past fall. Obviously that doesn't equate to any wins or anything on the scoreboard, but it's all connected. So we believe how you do anything is how you do everything. And so that's kind of been an underlying theme with this group from day one. And you know, here we are, day one official team training for the spring, for our spring season. But it just feels like another day of training and an opportunity to improve, and that's the mindset they've taken all along. So doesn't feel like anything new today outside of having a crowd and some excitement and coverage for our program, which we genuinely appreciate. But they are very focused on growth, on getting better. We know that we're going to take advantage of every day from here on out, and even when the season starts, still going to keep progressing and keep moving forward and keep getting better. So love the buy-in, love the way they've been all in. And as a new coaching staff, we just genuinely appreciate that out of this group from top to bottom, from the newcomers to the grad transfer seniors, guys who've been here for 5 years. So it's a great group of guys. Love being around them. Excited to get after it today again, today and every day. But you know, we can feel it. You know, the season's almost here. So for a lot of reasons, we're really excited to help return Clemson baseball where it belongs, on top of college baseball.
I guess in your mind, you've got, you know, you've seen these guys during the fall, you've seen them during workouts, but how much of your 1 through 9 is set? How much of your weekend rotation is set? The back end of the bullpen is set, and how much is still wide open?
You know, we haven't defined any roles yet. We haven't said Ben Blackwell's the starting shortstop or whatever, but I think any casual baseball fan will look and see that there's some returning starters that had some pretty good accolades last year, that were high performers, that you would think would have a natural leg up. And so, you know, even though we haven't named the starters 1 through 9, I think there's a few positions on the field that you just know those guys are going to be out there in some capacity, like a Ben Blackwell and a Blake Wright, and a Cooper Ingle, and a Caden Grice, and a Tyler Corbett. But there's still very much, you know, some position battles still going on, particularly in the outfield. You know, no idea what the 1 through 9 lineup is going to be in terms of the batting order. And in terms of the weekend rotation, this is a strength, is we have a lot of capable pitchers who can start. And, you know, we've said this before, for a starting pitcher for us is someone who can throw 3 pitches for strikes. And so we have a lot of guys that fit that category, that have had some repetitions in college baseball, pitched logged some significant innings in college baseball. Converting Ryan Ammons to a starter, is by design. That's intentional. We didn't do that for him to be the Tuesday starter. That the intent was for him to, get him to impact the game as much as we could. Preferably set the tone on a weekend series. But we've got 6 to 8 guys that we feel like are very capable of starting, and that's probably one of the, not necessarily who those guys are, but what the order is going to be of Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, and then which ones of those guys fit those high leverage reliever type roles, the first guys into the game if they're not starting type situations. So we got time to figure it out. I mean, we the good thing is even with a 20-man pitching staff, we kind of have a pretty good idea of who the top 10, 12 guys are. And it's just slotting them in roles that we think will help the team.
Coach, I checked and it was 20 degrees in Ann Arbor this morning.
We have a saying, 70 and sunny in Ann Arbor. And here it actually might really be 70 and sunny. So, the weather never, let's not kid ourselves. It gets a little chilly here too. Just don't have those 20-degree days, but the weather, this was a talking point at Michigan is, can't control the weather. And so even on the days here where it's cold or rainy, we're gonna treat it like it's a day like today where it's beautiful, 70 and sunny. It just may have to be that type of weather right between the years.
Is there a little difference in, like with Big Ten, you load up on a bus, you kind of barnstorm around to get away from the weather up there. Is it a little different mindset for you to think of how different the schedule is?
It's much different. There have been seasons where 7 of the first 8 weeks were getting on an airplane. I think you always like playing at home, not only for the home crowd and the environment and just playing at home, but the consistency that comes with that of eating the food you want to eat, sleeping in your own bed, those types of things. So. Hopefully that allows us to be consistent. The teams in the northern half of the country, they're dealing with a lot of X factors and maybe don't have many days like today where there's not a cloud in the sky and it's beautiful. So they have less reps of live competition, seeing balls in the air and so forth, and then couple that with extensive travel. Another reason to push the season back a little bit, reduce some of that travel, but we'll take it. This is I pinch myself every day. I still can't believe it's January and we're looking at blue skies like this. So I know our players are excited to open up the season at home, and that's something for myself, Coach Schnabel, Coach Mazer, coaches who haven't necessarily experienced that in a while. We're excited about that as well.
Are there any freshmen that you saw in the fall that you can say, hey, these guys are ready to help us right now, and I feel good that they're going to have a pretty significant role?
Yeah, there's actually quite a few that I think every freshman on our team we could look at and say, these guys are going to impact Clemson baseball in a positive way at some point in their career, whether it's this year, next year. But there's Cam Canarella comes to mind first because of the fall that he had from a performance standpoint. He really stood out offensively this fall. Tristan Smith from the pitching side stood out this fall. So there may be some guys like that may get a little more frequent opportunities and consistent opportunities early, but there's plenty of other guys that are in this freshman class that are highly talented, that will 100%, and you saw flashes of them this fall, whether it's a Jack Crichton, a Leighton Lackey, a Nathan Hall, Joe Allen, Nolan Naraki. I mean, there's just some guys that have Jacob Jarrell. You're going to see him early. Jacob Jarrell is going to be another freshman just because of the position he plays at catcher. Will be someone that we'll see a lot of early on as well. Especially with Cooper Ingle still not 100% yet, coming back with the arm. Cooper's healthier and will be out there, but we'll definitely need someone to give him some relief, and Jacob Jarrell looks to be that guy right now. So To answer your question, yes, there's a lot of freshmen that are going to make an impact. Some obviously more than others, but there's not one freshman in this entire class that we don't envision at some point in their career at Clemson being a significant contributor.
Is Tristan pushing for a rotation spot right now?
He's in the mix. You know, he's in the mix. I could, if you were to tell me Tristan Smith will be a weekend starter at the end of the season, I would say, yeah, I could see that because his stuff is very good. We just have a lot of older guys that also have good stuff. There's no question, you know, he's got a huge upside and a very high ceiling, maybe as high as anyone on the team, if not higher. So I think that will be his role at some point. When, that's the question mark. How soon it will take him to get to be in that role, that's to be determined. But you know, the programs that that I've been a part of, you know, even a guy like David Price, you know, didn't start out his freshman year in the weekend rotation. He got some experience, and then as he pitched a little bit, and he eventually entered into that weekend rotation, but it wasn't right away.
Cam, where all can he play?
Cam Canarella, he's a super utility, so he can play every infield position and every outfield position. We haven't tried him at catcher, but I think he's played all 7 positions behind the pitcher. So he'll be either in one of those or at a DH spot, or has a good chance to. Just based on, if we were to write the lineup out tomorrow, if opening day was tomorrow, or today for that matter, he would be in there somewhere.
Coach, obviously you have a very talented roster. Coming off of a serious injury like you had, how valuable is a guy like Will Taylor to have back on the field and in the locker room?
Will's a dynamic, explosive athlete, maybe one of the best athletes I've seen in a baseball uniform, just with his ability. We know what he can do on the football field, but just the ability to get to full speed quickly, and just he's a very fast mover, biomechanically, physiologically. He's just very gifted. So really it's just getting his baseball skills refined, where we can just kind of get all of those explosive moving parts under control. But he's got great plate discipline so far in what we've seen in just a couple of short weeks. Makes good plate decisions. I mean, he swings at strikes and takes balls, and he's shown a advanced feel for that in a very short window of time so far. So I think he'll be out there. He's one of 8 outfielders right now that are in contention for the 3 starting positions out there, but he's been very impressive thus far.
You mentioned in our phone conversation the other day that this roster was talented from the neck down, and then you just mentioned from the neck up. Has that been maybe the biggest thing for you, is trying to get them where you want them to be from the neck up, and what does that entail? Sure.
Well, I consider myself a teacher as much as I do a coach, and we got the most out of our teams at Michigan, not because we were the most talented team from the neck down, but because of what we had from the neck up. And everybody is born with a certain level of toughness and leadership and those character traits that are all learnable traits. Everybody's born with a certain level, but everybody can improve those levels. And so the classroom curriculum that classroom in general, I would say, is the most valuable piece of real estate in this stadium this past fall. And the talent from the neck down, the collection of baseball talent is phenomenal. I've said a million times, the previous staff did an awesome job of recruiting some awesome baseball players. And so for us, it was, getting them to have this collective buy-in that, Clemson is not their 3-year stepping stone to pro ball. That might be a byproduct of having very successful teams, but it's just this team-first mentality, and understanding that there's been a lot of great teams and a lot of great players that have come before them, and we're just standing on their shoulders, and we're trying to add as much value to an already storied program as possible. And so it follows this philosophy personally that if you want to have a great team, you got to have a bunch of great teammates. And building the teammate is where we do it in the classroom. And building the teammate simply is building the person, building the man, building the future husband, the future father, the future community leader. So you got to get out in the community, and you got to engage with this community, and you got to take the target off of yourself and not think of, I'm going to go be an independent contractor at the plate and just try to do my Twitter swing, but I'm playing team baseball. And it's not 9 independent contractors at the plate just trying to get their swings off. We're a super run scoring unit. And the offense is about scoring runs. The defense is about preventing runs, and we're working in constant synergy together because we are one team. It's not the hitters and the pitchers and we do our separate stuff. We're together in everything, and just tightening that circle and getting that collective buy-in, and that's where I feel like we've made the most strides. So what's going to happen on the field is going to happen on the field. And it just feels like we're not missing anything, we're not lacking anything from a physical talent standpoint, and connecting those dots from the neck up is what's going to make us a championship team, because champions behave like champions before they become champions. How you do anything is how you do everything. So what they do in the classroom from a GPA standpoint is connected to the community service, which is connected to playing well on the field.
What are you looking forward to most as your first game as head coach comes up in 3 weeks? What are you looking forward to with the crowd and everything?
Whew. I don't know. I still, I still think I'm going to wake up, who said 20 degrees in Ann Arbor, right? So like, I just still a dream come true for me. I just look out and I see all of you, and I see Doug Kingsmore Stadium above the video board out there, and it's just like, wow, it just brings back a lot of nostalgia and the feelings of being here the first time, and just that deep appreciation of getting to be at such an awesome place that values their baseball program and has such a passionate fan base and following in the community, with whether it be a media following or 6,000 people in the stand. So just being a part of it, returning Clemson baseball to where it should be. Competing to win our first national championship, be a championship caliber program. I'm just excited to, all the training and the days and everything that have gone into this, to just actually get to turn it over to the players and watch them compete. Because the training and the practices, that's where I feel like the coaches, that's our time. We create the environment. We make it very challenging. We push the pace and the tempo and just really, really get them out of their comfort zone. And then the games, that's their time. That's the players' time to shine. And, that'll be the time I'm more their cheerleader, and we'll still have to, call plays and do things and push buttons but the best teams that I've seen is, the coach's job is to eliminate his job, and the players know what to do. They know how to do it, and their personality can start to shine through on that field, and it just gets to the point where you just see them. We'll have ups, we'll have downs, but by the end of the season, it's just like you take the keys. For the older people who have kids that have gone on to drive, it's like handing them the keys and saying, all right, take me for a ride now. And so hopefully we get to that point. That's when it gets fun, and we try to just ride that wave of momentum as long as you can.
How different is it for you as a program, for you as a head coach, coming to a program where it's established, and your previous experiences, you always are building a program to get where Clemson has already been several times. How different is that for your approach?
Honestly, the approach hasn't changed. It's just maybe the infrastructure is here. The caliber of players already here. The stadium's already here. The support administratively is here. The passionate fan base, the passionate media base is here. So now it's just, making sure that all these puzzle pieces, you can try to put them together and and help these guys, reach their potential. Which for us, there's a John Wooden definition of success in there that we've kind of stolen and explained to them the same way. That's what success is for us, is if the individual players can reach their maximum potential and if the team can reach its maximum potential. And we just feel like with this particular group, if we can get there, then there's no reason why this team can't compete to be one of the last teams standing.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Coach.
We'll bring in some players.
Thank you, guys.